Hi, and welcome to today's video, where we look at advanced prompting techniques. Today's video is going to focus on reasoning as a type of prompt engineering and how we can make, ultimately, ChatGPT reason just like humans do. So let's get started at understanding what is reasoning. So first, large language models struggle to perform reasoning tasks. What we mean by that is that it requires more advanced prompt engineering techniques for them to be able to think through a task to solve it. Having said that, the latest versions of GPT-4 and GPT 3.5 both are much better and have improved drastically in the way they do reasoning. However, there are still some limitations, so it's important to understand the way they were able to improve and the papers that talked about different ways to make them perform better ultimately. So let's get started by talking about what is reasoning and examples of reasoning. So if I were to ask it, what is 7262 times 6452, it would easily answer it because that's a very easy mathematical problem. But if I ask it, the odd numbers in this group add up to an even number, and leave that question, the question is more complex because it requires a set of steps. It requires first to extract what are the odd numbers, two, to sum them together, and three, to be able to say whether the answer is even or odd. However, if you just give it as such, it would answer incorrectly. And you'll see it said 42 here, which is not the correct answer. However, if I were to ask it, the odd numbers in this group add up to an even number, let's say 15, 32, 5, 13, same numbers, solved by breaking the problem into steps. First, identify the odd numbers, add them, and then indicate. So these are the steps that I just thought through. I told it what these steps would be. It was able to get it correctly. And this is exactly what we mean by reasoning or helping it reason. Instead of just giving it the question, we can give it a prompt or an input with that prompt to help guide it on the output itself. The first one I want to guide you or walk you through is chain of thought prompting. So let's take an example. Roger has 5 tennis balls. He buys 2 more cans of tennis balls. Each can has 3 tennis balls. How many tennis balls does he have now? It would say 11. Again, if you were to try this today, it may get you the correct answer because the models have improved drastically. But again, it's important to understand the example. 11 is, the correct answer. However, then I ask it, the cafeteria has 23 apples. If they use 20 to make lunch and bought 6 more, how many apples do they have? It would say 27, which is incorrect. Now, with chain of thought, instead of just telling it the answer is 11 here, I would guide it. So I would say, Roger started with 5 balls. 2 cans of 3 tennis balls, each is 6 tennis balls. So 5 plus 6 is 11, so the answer is 11. When I do that in my few prompt example here, it's able to think in the same way. So instead of just saying the answer is 27, which was incorrect, it would say the cafeteria has 23 apples originally. They used 20 to make lunch. So they had 23 minus 20 is 20. 23 minus 20 is 3. They bought 6 more apples. So they have 3 plus 6 equal 9. And this idea of chain of thought was in the paper, Chain of Thought Prompting Illicit Reasoning in Large Language Model. And again, you can refer to the paper. You'll see me linking to each paper at the bottom here as well. So let's continue on to the second model, which is self-consistency. Now, with chain of thought prompting, one problem is even when it has that concept, it has what we call greedy decoding. So it always looks for the easiest answer or the quickest answer to be able to resolve the problem. If I don't give it exactly what the tasks are, it may go AWOL and may completely get it wrong. So one other way that has been proposed in the Self-Consistency Improves Chain of Thought Reasoning in Language Models paper was that instead of just relying on that, we need to rely on getting a diverse set of reasoning paths. So when it gives you a set of answers or a set of ways it thought about it, we can choose which way we want to go for. And ultimately, the one that has the most reasoning paths that have the most correct answer are the correct ones. So the answer is 18. And that's again that idea where you can try different options of how the thought process is before actually answering. The third one is general knowledge prompting. So a lot of times when you want to ask it a question, especially in general knowledge, if it does not have the context of that general knowledge, it may answer completely incorrectly. So in embedding into our question a context that helps it within the solve the answer can be helpful. And that's what the generated knowledge prompting for common sense reasoning paper talks about. So the idea here is you have a question, you have a knowledge generation, which can produce different knowledge. You integrate the knowledge to your context, and then you get the answer. And here, I'm just going to show you examples where prompting with generated knowledge rectifies model prediction. So each section here shows the correct answer in green and the incorrect answer in red. And the prediction score from the inference model that only sees the question at the top, that's the first one, and then the same when it sees the actual knowledge as well. So let's take this as an example. So the word children means M or more kids. The first prediction was 1 with a 37% confidence level. Whereas if I add the word child means 1 kid, then it's able to answer correctly and say that children means 2 or more kids with a 91% confidence level. Now, she was always helping at the senior center. It brought her what? Feel better, which again is not contextually correct. It should be something like happiness. So we say people who help others are usually happier. It was able to deduce from that context and say happiness as the correct answer with a 98% confidence. Part of golf is trying to get a higher point total than others. Now, this is incorrect. You're actually trying to score the least number of points. But it said yes, because most games have that high score kind of concept, and it was 100% certain of that. Whereas the player with the lowest score wins. If I add that in the context, then you can answer correctly and be 100% sure of that answer. Sponges eat primarily cartilage. That's its answer, again with a 95% confidence. Whereas if I say sponges eat bacteria and other tiny organisms, it's able to say krill and plankton, which is again the correct answer. So helping it out by adding context to ensure that, like, don't rely on the base knowledge when you have other knowledge. If you have very specific specialized knowledge, add it within the context to help it become more accurate in what it says. Thanks for watching. Now, this is just one type, which is reasoning. We're going to look at other types as well as we go through this training series, and also how to use them in real-world examples. Thanks for watching, and please, again, hit subscribe, like our video if you like it, and if you have any comments, please share the comments with us.